We're just walking over here a few minutes ago. There's Oilers fans already all over the streets. The moss pit behind us has just opened. There's lineups around the block. And as we were walking over, I found myself thinking about it again about 2006. And when Fernando Pisani scored that goal in Carolina in overtime, and we knew it was coming back to Edmonton for Game 6, I think all of us felt like it was a guarantee that we'd be back in Carolina for Game 7 because that crowd would be so nuts that the Oilers were going to win. Does it feel the same this year that this nutty atmosphere can propel them to a Game 7?
It does. Now, the Florida Panthers are going to have something to say about that, but this Edmonton Oilers fan base, this is going to be the seventh man. And you can feel, especially in Game 4, the fan base, they propelled this team as far as energy, and they were able to get a huge 8-1 win on home ice. But the bigger picture is it's going to be the start. You talk to players and they can hear it in the dressing room before they go out. But it's more about their start, and the fan base is going to drag this team and get their emotions. Maybe if there is a lull in the game, the fan base will be able to drag them back up. But certainly, they have been a difference maker so far.
Yeah, I mean, you walk through the city, and it's a complete party atmosphere celebrating the return of James Duthie to the panel here in Edmonton. That was a big deal as part of the walkover. But, hey, even in the press box, Game 3 and 4, I mean, you can literally feel the vibrating as they open up the hockey game. There can be challenges. So as we go into Game 6, I think that both teams have learned to embrace the chaos, but there will be challenges. I mean, you have to be a lip reader. You've got to be able to read hand signals, because simple things like communicating, screams from the bench, directions from the bench are hard to hear because of how loud it can get inside that building.
Look, first goal is always important in big games like this. Feels extra important, especially for the Panthers tonight, because Oilers get on top and they will just ride that. Now, you heard Ryan talking about Draisaitl. I think when it was 3-0, we would have said, there's no way the Oilers can come back unless McDavid and Draisaitl shine. Well, McDavid's been amazing, but they've gotten here without Draisaitl at all. Ryan mentioned the goalless streak is now at 7, only 2 assists to show for the entire series so far. And again, he's taking the blame for it, wants to be better. Don't you think, though, at some point here, whether it's Game 6 or Game 7, they're not going to come back and complete this historic comeback without Draisaitl somewhere along the way having a serious role?
Absolutely. I said in the finals that you've seen superstar players step up and be difference makers. In Game 1 is Bobrovsky. I mean, Connor McDavid, what he's been doing the last couple games. But if the Edmonton Oilers are going to have success and finish this comeback, 29 is going to factor in on it, and it's going to be a big goal. It's going to be a big play. Now, he's called himself out 3 times so far in the finals. He knows he has to be better, but let's not kid ourselves. We know he's not playing at 100%, but this guy is a difference maker. He knows it, and there will be a Draisaitl night if the Edmonton Oilers are going to have success.
Well, and that's the feel, right? If you talk to his teammates, if you talk to the coaching staff of the Edmonton Oilers, now this isn't a bold prediction, this isn't bulletin board stuff, but they believe that he's going to come alive in Game 6. But I'm with you. When you watch him on faceoffs, even it doesn't seem to have as much snap with that one-timer when given the opportunity. So I think he's playing with something and through something. You could say that with a lot of guys, but there is a sense around this club. Look, he said today he has not arrived at his standard in this series just yet. So maybe tonight's the night.
Well, and the Oilers have had other guys pick it up. I don't know if you saw the Zach Hyman mic'd up on Brown's goal and how he just kept yelling, Brownie, Brownie, and a lot of holy expletives. But he ended it with, what a player. And that's an accurate play-by-play, because is that become one of the stories of these playoffs, his turnaround after what was a really tough season?
Yeah, I mean, we often look and try and project what the X factor might be in every series. And in the Stanley Cup Final, historically, you do look at depth players, and third lines normally have a shutdown role. And that's really the case for Connor Brown and Janmark and Adam Henrique. But they've also defined the outcome of Games 4 and 5 based on the creation of their offense. A couple of shorthanded goals, which Paul Maurice of the Florida Panthers says is just flat out unacceptable. But it's been a lethal combination, at least in the last 2 games, of Connor McDavid's dominance and the third line play, both defensively and offensively, in leading the charge on the penalty kill.
You mentioned Paul Maurice talking about and basically saying that, you got to stay out of the penalty box. That was the narrative coming out of last game. Well, special teams have been the difference maker. Connor Brown gets a shorthanded goal The power play for the Edmonton Oilers goes 2 for 5. Special teams is the difference right now because 5-on-5, Paul Maurice said, I liked our game, but we've got to find a way to stay out of the penalty box. And if we get a power play, they've got to convert instead of giving up one. Yeah. That has been lethal for the Edmonton Oilers, is that combination. So Florida has to have an answer. Well, the clear answer is play whistle to whistle and stay out of the penalty box so they don't give the Oilers lethal power play a good look.
Never ceases to amaze me how quickly things turn around. We sat here when it was 3-0 and the whole story was the Oilers' woeful power play. Yeah. And now they have 3 in the last 2 games. And remember, the Panthers had only given up 6 in their previous 20 games. Now 3-2. Have to fix that or the Oilers might get that historic comeback, Glenn.